The American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. It's time for a change in the White House, y'all. Bring it. If you want to you gotta be.
How's it going, folks? There's my Munkin. Good to see you, Chris. We're just letting some folks come on in. We're going to be talking about the Second Amendment rally in Richmond. It's been getting a lot of news. We're going to try to sort through the craziness. That's what we do. That's what we do, folks. Good to see you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just doing some shares. When you come on into the room, click the share button. Let folks know we're here. How's it going, Cindy? Deborah, good to see you. Yeah, I know, right, Cindy? That's why we're talking about it. They're making craziness. They're making craziness. Make America great again. I'm really excited to go, actually. So we're going to be live on Monday. Assuming that I have the jammers, we'll at least have video. Hopefully we'll be live. Because we are definitely 100% ready to defend our Second Amendment with our First Amendment. How's it going, Lisa from Tennessee? Good to see you. Tennessee folks like their guns. They like their firearms. They like the Second Amendment. Love my Tennessee people. He's not done. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I am Suzzanne Monk. We're 8 minutes away from our nation's beautiful capital, about 13 minutes away from our beautiful White House. I can actually, right behind the trees over there, see the Washington Monument glowing in the night skyline right here in beautiful Washington, D.C. Of course, we have the most folks on Facebook, but we are starting to get more viewers on Twitter, on Periscope, on Twitter, and on YouTube. We're broadcasting via StreamYard on all three platforms at once. So I'm excited doing that. I want to, of course, give a shout out to my friends at the Trump Towel and let you know this show is brought to you by President Nutcracker. He's not just a decorative, gorgeous decoration. He is also the publisher of a news site, thedemocratsarenuts.com. The Democrats are nuts. Obviously, when the Democrats are nuts, you need a president nutcracker, and it is a wonderful new news site that we're working on building up as we speak. And of course, the show is brought to you by that. You can also support the show on Patreon. It's there in the description of the show. Carol, good to see you. Becky, good to see you. Welcome, 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 everybody. All right. I want to spend the majority of the hour talking today about the Second Amendment rally in Richmond, why it's so important, what's going on with the news, why everybody's freaking out, why we shouldn't be freaking out. How's it going, Lori? How's it going, Tim? Tracy, how's it going? Maryland, yep. See, here, well, us Maryland, DC, Virginia, us DMV people, we know a few things. We've seen a few things. So, and we certainly know what's going on with the state of Virginia. So, here's what we know so far. Obviously, there's a big Second Amendment rally planned on a traditional lobbying day. Lobbying day at the Capitol in Richmond is a typical day. Gun lobbyists every year come to the Richmond Capitol on this day to lobby their officials. So this is absolutely nothing new whatsoever. Okay, this did not just come out of the blue. Let's start from the beginning. This did not just come out of the blue. This is a regular event in the state of Virginia at Richmond at the Capitol. It's called Lobbying Day. How's it going, Loretta? They do it every single year. Every single year, armed Second Amendment supporters come legally carrying, as is their right in the state of Virginia and in the United States of America, according to the Constitution of the United States. They come, they lobby, they gather in support of their Second Amendment rights. It's been happening year after year after year. Lobby Day. Okay? This Lobby Day is different. Why is this different? Well, how's it going, Janet? Because we told all you folks in Virginia, don't fight with each other. Come together and fight the Democrats. Defeat the Democrats. And guess what happened in Virginia? They didn't defeat the Democrats. They failed in Northern Virginia, in many of the blue areas, to defeat the Democrats effectively enough. And the Democrats took power in Virginia. They are in charge of the state legislature. What happened as soon as the Democrats took over the state legislature? Bill after bill after bill, threatening the right to bear arms, threatening the right to train people, for people to go hunting, gun confiscation threats, red flag laws being suggested. By the way, they're throwing in a national popular vote clause in there as well. They're flooding the legislature with anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, anti-conservative legislation. Duh. Democrats, we don't want to take away your guns and all your rights and destroy the Constitution. Just vote us in and we'll protect all those things. You vote them in. We want to take away your guns and your rights and destroy the Constitution, and you voted us in, so there's nothing you can do about it. This is the Democrat Party and has been again and again. So, what happened? Everybody in the Second Amendment community, all the gun lovers in Virginia, which is the majority of the state of Virginia, got upset. Naturally got upset. Second Amendment sanctuary bills started being passed in different counties and cities across the state of Virginia. Okay? So this lobbying day started to get a little bigger. More and more people come out. See, exactly. Let's put this right here. And hopefully when it says when government takes away the citizens' right to bear arms, it becomes citizens' right to take away government, George Washington. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Yes. And certainly we are going to be doing what the founders intended on the 20th, on Monday, when we go down for lobbying day. Now, so this lobbying day got bigger. More Second Amendment groups. Tim, I'm going to tell you that we're going to talk about that. Whether people will be showing up armed or unarmed, we're going to be talking about that in just a minute. More Second Amendment groups decided to come in. people from out of state, from across the country, started to get excited and say, well, we got to come in and defend the Second Amendment. This is a big deal. So the lobbying day crowd got bigger. Okay. Now, here's what happened after that. The Democrats got nervous because now they're afraid that one of their pet issues that effectively divides the electorate between Democrat and Republican is they've pushed it too far in the state of Virginia. And now they have people on both sides and people of all demographics, white, black, Asian, red, Native American, Indian, every nationality whatsoever, gay, straight, all of it. Everybody's all upset, and now they want to all come together and talk about Virginia. You went too far with these laws. So, what did Virginians do? What did the Democrats in Virginia do? Well, they started complaining they were getting death threats, and they started saying it was a security risk. And so, Governor Northam, Governor Blackface, as we often know him as here in the DMV, decided to declare a state of emergency. A state of emergency. Nothing has happened yet. No one has showed up at the Capitol. It's not for several days, but apparently there will be a state of emergency in Richmond because Second Amendment supporters are coming to peacefully demonstrate and show their distaste and frustration with the unconstitutional laws that Virginia is trying to pass. Now, Tim asked a very good question. Will people be wearing, is everyone, let's throw Tim's question up here. Is everyone showing up with their guns? Let's explain what's going to happen. The governor's executive order allowed him to establish a gun-free zone on the Capitol, which means they're going to put up, like they do when they inaugurate the governor, when they have an event there, everybody has to show up and they have to secure it. They're going to put the little fence. They've already put the fences up all around the Capitol. They're doing that now, okay, at ridiculous expense. So they're going to put the fences up all around. There will be security, inaugural level security inside that area or on the Capitol grounds. Okay. So no firearms, no bats, no baseballs, no shields, no helmets, no explosives. Basically anything. Literally, they say anything that can be used as a weapon. So that's everything. I can my assault pencil. I mean, that's where we're at. So, but that is within inside the Capitol grounds. Now there will be a huge area around the Capitol grounds, several streets. Some of the streets will be blocked, but several other streets will be open. Those are open public areas where individuals will be carrying, as is their legal right, legally carrying firearms at the event. So if you want to bring your guns, you can do that without getting yourself into any hassle whatsoever. Don't go. We're going to talk about that in a second there, Harold. Don't go on the Capitol grounds. Stay near the Capitol grounds where there will still be plenty of people. The estimates are up to 120,000 people are going to be showing up, and it could be many, many more. With all of the ridiculous press that the Democrats are putting out about their horrible fear now that all of these gun owners are coming. It's not the law-abiding gun owners you need to be concerned with. Now, let's talk about some stuff that folks are talking about here on Periscope. I'm going to pull Tim off of here, and we're going to just one after the other. Their Harold says, it said the Ku Klux Klan is coming. We can all laugh at that because, yes, 3 white supremacists, known white supremacists, were arrested in Virginia with the claim that they had been planning some kind of act. Now, here's the thing. These individuals were known to the FBI and being investigated long before this event. This investigation just conveniently culminated right before this rally. There was, in fact, not a huge contingency of white supremacists showing up. In fact, there is a huge contingency of everyone showing up, including some Antifa. The Herald says, is Antifa going to be there? Yes, the Herald. Antifa is going to be here. Here's an interesting point. The Virginia Antifa group, according to the media, now I don't know. I'm not friends with the, let's just make sure we understand. Suzzanne Monk's not friends with the Virginia Antifa group, okay? But the Virginia Antifa group, according to the news, will be showing up in defense of the Second Amendment. In defense of the Second Amendment. Not there to protest, okay, the Second Amendment individuals, but to protest the government actually in the president. Now we're gonna put, yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second, Valerie. We're gonna talk about the same false flag information we get every single time we have a big event. We're gonna talk about that because it's actually one of the things that is the most frustrating again and again is that what we really see being operated against our First Amendment rights and our right to redress the grievances against our government is this constant fear and intimidation. And a lot of that comes from information they plant, not just on the left, but on the right. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But yes, Antifa will be coming. There's an Antifa group, Virginia Antifa group that will be, as we are being told, will be marching in solidarity. I'm going to go find them. We have this idea. Listen, there's a lot of things that you're hearing in the news, especially if you are not local, even if you are local, but if you're hearing things from outside of the Virginia area, you're getting a lot of information that is literally propaganda designed to terrorize and reduce the numbers of individuals who show up. So what are they doing to terrorize? One, these white supremacist arrests. So they make it seem like the government is going to be cracking down. They make it seem like it's going to be a huge ordeal, that it's going to be somehow dangerous, that the government is going to be like the government of Charlottesville when they let the violence occur. Okay? That they've said the word Charlottesville like 500 times in the media this week. That is designed to trigger an emotional response. That is designed to trigger an emotional response in individuals so you are nervous that you won't show up. The same thing with talking about Antifa groups coming and this idea, knowing full well that on the right, if you say the word Antifa, there are people on the right who are going to get, oh, well, it's going to be dangerous. And there are other people who are going to be like, all right, Antifa, let's go get them. They're going to say stupid things on the internet. Neither of those two people are going to show up, actually, because both of them are actually afraid of Antifa. It's the patriots like myself who are not afraid of Antifa, who literally believe in the First Amendment 100%. I stand up and I tell Antifa this all the time. I literally am standing up for your right to have your stupid communist flag and your stupid communist worker posters and march around the stupid square just like any other American who has the right to the First Amendment free speech that we are granted, not by the founders, but by God, protected in the Constitution. Yeah, that is what will happen. The Herald says President Trump's going to be the first president to be impeached, to be reelected. Although, did they officially impeach Clinton before his second term won? Or was it after? It's been a while. I'm old, I got to admit. Because, I could have told the Democrats right now, impeaching someone doesn't mean they don't win the election and stay president. Everybody who lived through Clinton knew that already. So that's one thing that they've been telling us. They've been telling us there's Antifa showing up. They've been telling us now every single time there's a major event, there is the thread, the ongoing idea. Thank you, South Carolina. That's awesome. This ongoing idea that this is going to be a false flag. Now, let's first off talk about what is a false flag. Okay, because people are already confused about what false flags are. False flag is not an attack that is faked. It is an attack that is put together by people in power. How's it going, Bill? By people in power. And then it's blamed on somebody else, but it's still an actual attack. And it's used, the false flag, it is used to manipulate some kind of agenda or policy in some way. That's the false flag is. So this idea that there's going to be a false flag at every single event, it comes up again and again because, in fact, the government, particularly the left, and we've seen it happen a few times, does use the attack in ways to distract from the media, to push forward an agenda. They've tried this in many ways. It's important to look. It's important to look at those historical experiences so that you can make an assessment on whether or not you're going to be in a false flag. Because just the idea, the false flag, the Craigslist ads that they show every single time, listen, just as a personal strategy, if I was a crazy leftist and I wanted to frighten everybody, I would just put out a Craigslist ad that I've called the crisis actors for some event. You folks on the right will share that ad everywhere and totally terrorize yourselves with the fact that I'm hiring crisis actors, and boom, I've put out a $10 ad and I've terrorized thousands of patriots. It's become actually really easy to manipulate people's emotions through that. So you have to look at logic. This is the logic of the situation. In Charlottesville, the left have entire control. They had entire control. They brought in the left. They brought in the right. We have evidence that they bust individuals in from each side on the same buses. They had the law enforcement there standing down. They did not have They had a large group of people who were organized by Jason Kessler and Richard Spencer and people who had a disingenuous motive. They did not have what we see in Richmond, which is a large organic coming together of many different Second Amendment groups, militias, 3%er groups, constitutionalists, patriots from around the country. It is an entirely different situation. Okay. So what happened in Charlottesville happened because the left controlled both sides. In Richmond, the left does not control both sides. In fact, they have to retain control of at least one of the sides or they get themselves in a lot of trouble. So no violence. This is the logic we have to understand. There will be no violence that occurs on the Capitol grounds because that will be entirely secured. Okay. Through the fences, through the massive security. Why can you say, well, how can you say no violence will occur on the Capitol grounds? Because if the Capitol grounds security is unable to secure their own Capitol grounds after putting the order in place, then it is not the Second Amendment that is at fault. It is Capitol security, and they then are financially liable for any violence, any damage, any medical treatment that is needed or incurred on any violence that occurs. Once they shut that Capitol down, if somebody gets through the security, it's on the government of Virginia to secure you. So they're not going to do that. The idea of doing a false flag is to do it in such a way that you create the result you want. You create the proper outrage and the proper narrative. The Democrat government of Virginia secured the Capitol and failed to do so. Not the narrative. Here's what else isn't the narrative. Okay, there will not be any shootings on the Capitol, on the area around the Capitol grounds. Why do I say that, Suzzanne? Why do you say there will be no shootings on the area? How can you possibly say that? It's going to be a volatile situation. There's going to be a ton of people with guns there. How can you possibly suggest that there's not going to be a violent shooting? How can you know? Are you a Nostradamus? Do you have a crystal ball? No, I have logic. My friend. And I have the knowledge of what impact the Second Amendment actually has on our everyday life. So why will there be no violence in the area, in the crowd where all the Second Amendment supporters are? Here's why. Any individual who would attempt to commit an act of gun violence, a shooting in any way, in that area where there are thousands of open carry, responsible, well-trained military, ex-police, advanced gun owners, good guys with guns everywhere. So I'm a bad guy with a gun. I come in, I'm like, I'm going to shoot people. Oh, I'm dead in 1 second. Now the narrative is there would have been a shooting, except the Virginia gun owners who were there defending their rights, protecting their rights, actually defended and protected the Capitol. Bad narrative. Bad narrative. So it doesn't fulfill the goal. You have to ask yourself, when you are looking at what the left is going to do, what the left would do, what the left should do, might do, you have to look at logic. Logic is still important. And this is one of the logical things we have to understand. So there's not going to be violence. They want you to think there is going to be violence. They want you to think that people are going to rile up. This is why they're doing things like, let's bring this up. Marita says Virginia has revoked the permits from out of states. Yes, they are doing everything they can. Now that it's a state of emergency, they can attempt to shut it down. They're trying to, what they don't want, Marita, and I think the real concern of the Virginia state legislature right now, the Democrat state legislature, is to have lobby day, which is just a regular old day in Virginia every single year, to have this turn into such a big deal only in response to these ridiculous, oppressive, and obviously unconstitutional Second Amendment laws. They don't want to see that outpush, that outcry, that press of humanity demonstrating how upset they are. And frankly, they're going to lose the narrative. They're going to lose the narrative. Now, the Herald says, let's put this up. Trump supporters will be arrested because they're sick and tired of the left's agenda. What I'm going to tell you is this. I am in close communication with a lot of individuals who are involved in the planning of the event. 3%ers, militia groups who are planning to come. I have been in close enough contact with these individuals to know that their activities are being entirely coordinated. So these individuals, there's not a lot of rogue groups on the right coming in. I want to lend that sense of confidence to everyone that individuals on the right, the folks who are organizing, the folks that work with these 3%er groups, the folks who work with these militia groups, are in communication with one another. How's it going, Nick? And engaging in strategic coordination, in part, strategic coordination for the legal push to have the executive order rescinded, to have the governor's executive order banning guns on Capitol grounds rescinded. That is still in legal process right now. We still have a couple days for that to continue to be a legal contention point. Certainly the right is not giving up on pushing that on a legal level and removing the executive order, or putting an injunction on the executive order. They had an injunction. That injunction was then rejected later by the next level of court. So there is a process going on throughout the thing. Now, I understand the Democrats are not logical, but they're not stupid. This is what we have to. The average rank and file sheeple voter, stupid, yes. But the strategists, the Tom Steyers, the George Soroses, the Mike Bloombergs who are flooding money into the Virginia system, the coordinators at the DNC, much like we have seen, Project Veritas putting out some recent videos, the coordinators back in the 2016, they were actually the ones hiring folks to engage in physical violence. But at points where they had control, they didn't throw down and hire a bunch of people to commit acts of violence in Alabama rallies. They did it in Chicago, where they had the numbers to resist. So it's important to understand military strategy from their standpoint as well, because it's not just, it doesn't make sense, so we're not going to do it. The Democrats will do stupid stuff, but they're not going to do things that defeat their goal. Even stupid people. All right, if a stupid guy is hungry, okay, he's still going to do things to get food, even if he's stupid. They might be stupid things to get food, but his goal is still going to be get the food. The Democrats, even if they're stupid and crazy and leftist, their goal is still to turn the agenda, to manipulate the media in such a way that we turn the voter against the Second Amendment issue. Now, they're losing that issue. This entire rally and on the 20th, this entire event being put together is a huge demonstration about how the Democrats are losing on this issue. And it won't matter how many school shootings or how many kids get shot or how many heart-tearing, heart-rending attacks you continue to engage in or play up or propagandized across the country. The American people continue to want the defense of their right to bear arms and defend themselves and protect themselves. That's what's on the line. And that's why what they have put in place, what the Democrats are putting in place against this event right now is a massive propaganda push. Death threats are coming in. White supremacists are coming out. The Klan is coming. We're all in danger. Oh, boo, hoo, hoo. Right. Guarantee you nothing's going to happen. Because it won't help them. And there's a lot of, I appreciate what I'm going to bring this comment up. Their Herald says, and they will do anything to carry out their agenda. Yes, to carry out their agenda. It's one of the things we talk a lot about a strategy on this show. And we do. I've been in the trenches, I've been in the trenches against Antifa and the left for a very long time. And you can Google my many news articles of demonstrating that exact thing. And you learn something by going again and again and experiencing and engaging these individuals on the left. You learn something about what effective strategies are available and will be put in place. You learn something about how to engage in the process. So by doing that, you actually become smarter. Yeah, I should be broadcasting live there as long as it's not jammed. They often in these kind of environments they'll jam the thing. If that's the case, I will in fact be videoing and then we'll upload after the fact. So, but what I can tell you from many experiences, the only situations where you see individuals live actually being the only situations where you see violence occur, the breakdown, every single time it has had to have three components. One, an extremely left-leaning community where the event is being held. Berkeley, Portland, Chicago. Two, intimate workings and dealings, corruption, cronyism with the law enforcement and with the local government. That was the case in Charlottesville. That was the case in Chicago. That was the case in Berkeley. Because what needs to happen, it's the case in Portland, because what needs to happen is that mayor or that city council member, that leader in the city has to come to the police, because that's the third component, very liberal contacts in the local government. You have to get the police to stand down. If the police do not stand down, you don't get violence. Now, there's another way to do it. You can actually outnumber the police. And that's actually what happened in Chicago, the Chicago Trump rally riot. They literally brought more leftists there than the police could control. And then, of course, the way that the city government had set up positioning the protesters and positioning the event put them in a way to cause conflict. It was orchestrated, but certainly the majority of the police had no intention of standing down. Some of the higher ups, they kind of pushed everybody out in it together. You could tell. But those are the three components. We don't have those three components in Richmond in any way. So what their intent now is to scare as many people. Now that's already working. They're already succeeding at scaring up multiple groups who have decided, publicly have stated, they are pulling out of the event. Individuals who are claiming to go, pulling out of the event. Families who are claiming to go, pulling out of the event. So the damage that is being done by the leftist panic narrative And our response narrative that I am telling you right now for free is planted on the right by leftists operating a leftist agenda. For free, I'm telling you that. That panic is causing more damage to the event than the left actually will cause in any case in the event. The goal is to make as few people show up as possible. 100%. That's why they are invoking Charlottesville. That's why they're declaring this state of emergency. That's why they're talking about Antifa groups showing up. That's why they're arresting white supremacists. It is a full-on terrorist propaganda agenda to reduce the number of people who will show up. Because more people showing up, the large number of people showing up is literally the message that they do not want sent. And so that's what they're trying to avoid. Any violence that occurs at the event actually supports the Second Amendment and the Second Amendment supporters worse than if it didn't happen. So are the rank and file Democrats smart and strategic? No, but they're overlords. The idiots the folks who are paying billions of dollars, millions of dollars to manipulate the state of Virginia, to manipulate these laws, to get these Democrats elected, to try to push the national popular vote. They're doing the same thing in Pennsylvania. They're doing the same thing across the country. These individuals, very clever, and they're doing exactly a complete and utter strategy. And so we as patriots need to be able to decide intelligently when we are going to, what narrative we're going to follow up on. Oh, Valerie, that's a great question. It says, can we afford to buy you a whole page open letter in Virginia papers explaining all these points? Hey, right? Wouldn't that be helpful? Wouldn't that be useful information? Do you have any numbers who will be going? Patricia, there's a lot of folks, as far as the numbers, up to 120,000. Up to 120,000. Yes. Well, I'm going to show this because this is the comment. It's from I can't say your last name. That's fine. Virginia Capitol on edge as FBI agents arrest suspected neo-Nazis. Yes, these are the individuals who have been under investigation for months and months and months before. Conveniently arrested days before. Carefully orchestrated propaganda system to make sure that they are controlling us. So we have to, as patriots, we have to control our fear and engage in our Second Amendment rights with logic. Are we ever completely not at risk? No, I'm at risk right now. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. Okay, in life. I live in a major city. A shooting can happen. You can live in the country. A shooting can happen. Folks went to church. Jack Wilson's church. Folks went to church one day. A shooting happened. All right. That's why we have the Second Amendment, actually, because anything can happen. We need to be prepared to defend ourselves. As Marita says, you cannot stop what's going to happen. But just like every other thing in life, you try to behave responsibly. So yeah, when I get in my car and I go driving around, bad things can happen. Car accidents can occur. What do? I wear my seatbelt. I drive defensively. I look out for other people. I avoid areas where there might be dangerous traffic. I don't drive near cliffs. You know, there's things you do to protect yourself in a otherwise dangerous activity. You don't stop driving because it's dangerous and you can't control the other people on the road. You drive. But you take calculated intellectual risks. We need to be doing the same thing with these events, because what I'm seeing, particularly in the Second Amendment rally here in Richmond, is propaganda that's being spread by the left is actually being repeated. Yeah, I'm going to put Tim's comment up. It's actually being repeated on the right. And we're making our own selves panic. And folks like Audra Johnson, our MAGA bride, who is coming up here down here. She's coming down. It's from Michigan. Coming down to attend the rally, attend the March for Life on the 24th. She's going to be here for the gun rally on the 20th. She had folks calling her saying, don't call, don't go. Don't go. It's dangerous. Antifa's going to be there. They're going to have guns, and the left is going to have guns, and it's going to be a false flag, and they're hiring private detectives. I saw the screenshot. Don't go. Calm your gears. Where is all of that panic coming from? The left. All of that panic. How's it going, Lee? Good to see you. All of that panic is coming from the left. That is the propaganda and fear. In fact, you can almost tell whether or not they will operate a false flag based on whether they want you to come into an event or they're trying to scare you away from an event. Now, if they wanted it to be a false flag, they'd be putting up fake gun rights guys to be ginning up this event. What happened in Charlottesville? Look at what happened in Charlottesville. They didn't come in, okay? They had their own leftists, Richard Spencer, Jason Kessler. These are people who work for their side, to be honest. They operate the same ideologies and they manipulate the same situations. They're bringing people in. More disparate groups nobody even knew about. Hey, have you heard about this crazy group? I've never heard of them. I remember all the conversations the Patriots were having about we didn't know who these people were. That's not what's happening in Richmond. All kinds of groups who are open who they are. The NRA is going to be there. The Second Amendment Institute is going to be there. Again and again and again, all of these groups very well organized, not fly by night, organized groups. And then what do you see the left doing? The left is like, get away from it. Get away from it. The left isn't like, oh, go towards it because we have to stand up against these Nazis. They're like, oh, stay away from it because it's going to be dangerous. Mm-hmm. Right. Propaganda. That is the propaganda. Yes, Charlottesville was over a statue, and ultimately it was intended to create a situation where they could use that narrative again and again to fake and suggest that somehow it's Trump supporters who are violent, when in fact we know it was individuals on the left and the standing down of police, and that's what's happened again and again and again. So I wonder if it's possible. Oh, great. I can do that. Perfect. So now, I'm going to be down in Richmond. We're going to have a nice group of people. There's going to be a huge group of patriots from all over the country. We are going to have congressional candidates, senatorial candidates, gun rights advocates, patriot activists. It's going to be a fantastic event, and I'm really excited. If you are in the area, drive on down. Now, is it going to be crazy? Yes. Is there going to be anywhere to park? No. Are you going to need to park far away and like Uber over or walk over? Yes. It's Woodstock for guns in Virginia. Come show up. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully it won't be too cold and or muddy. Now, let's talk a little bit about this impeachment, you guys. Yeah, I should be live, Loretta. I should be live. The only thing that will prevent me from being live is if they bring the, often at these public events, they'll bring the jammers and they jam your phone signals and we can't go live. And it happens every year at the March for Life. A lot of events, you'll have that. So who knows? They might have the little secret jammers in there and then I got nothing. But then I will be recording video. We will make sure we get you that information so you guys can see what really happened, because it's just not going to be nearly the bloodbath everyone is making it out to be. You know what also isn't going to be the bloodbath that everyone is making it out to be? Impeachment. Okay, so Nancy finally found the impeachment papers. I'm pretty sure, she was under all of those wine bottles she was recycling. Recycling always causes problems, so it I'm sure did in this situation as well. So she finally found them. They got the managers all together, a whole crew of Democrats. Shocker. And the managers went over and presented them to the Senate, holding hostage basically the Senate while they listened to Adam Schiff and the other managers discuss the ridiculousness of these charges. What I found particularly frustrating is that they keep claiming that the articles of impeachment somehow contain high crimes or misdemeanors, and they do not contain high crimes nor misdemeanors. In fact, there is no criminal activity in the articles of impeachment, even as they have been voted upon. Obstruction of Congress is not a criminal activity. Neither is their, quote, abuse of power. No statutes or laws have been broken. No parking tickets were issued. I mean, this is how ridiculous the situation is. So, however, they are, of course, in the Senate. Okay. Now, let's talk a minute about what has to happen in the Senate. Obviously, there is a process that goes on in the Senate, and we need to be a little bit more educated about the Senate situation. So, the managers bring the articles in, they present the articles. The Senate then has to vote on the trial methods. That is the 51% vote. That is the 51 senator vote that they're talking about. When they're like, oh, we need 51 votes. That is merely so important. Merely to vote on the process going forward. Now, here's a few things on the table. 1, dismiss the entire thing on the table. 2, vote to bring witnesses. Okay? Vote to bring witnesses that have already been heard from in the House. So no new witnesses. Now, the House already wants to, Schiff and Nadler and all these folks, they already want to call new witnesses. Nancy's already been putting out we want to bring new people in. They want to call John Bolton, for example. Okay? But that's not the middle option. First option, dismiss. Second option, call witnesses, but only the witnesses that have already been heard from the House and presented with the articles of impeachment. Option number 3, call new witnesses. Investigate new testimony. Now, that already, I think, is a defiance of the constitutional reality of the situation, because the Senate is supposed to be trying the situation and trying the impeachment trial, and they're not supposed to be doing the investigative work. That is literally the work of the House. That is why the House writes the articles, votes on the articles, transmits the articles. That's why. And the Senate tries that. There's a system of checks and balances. That being said, it's a win for us, and this is also important. I want everybody to understand this. It is a win for us on all 3 fronts. And Valerie, I'm going to answer your question about the threats in just a second, so I didn't forget it. If they dismiss, great. The Democrats have their stupid impeachment. It didn't go well in the House. It comes over. We don't like it in the Senate. It has no legs. Dismissed. We're done with this impeachment. Now, are we really done with impeachment? No, because the Democrats are already preparing new articles of impeachment. Really, Suzzanne? Yeah, really, everybody. Really, that's really happening. The only end to impeachment is to take back the House in 2020. 100%. They will impeach this president indefinitely unless we take back the House. Fact. Now, what happens if we call witnesses, but witnesses would have already been heard for? Great. Now, the Republican Senate gets to cross-examine these individuals who have tested in front of the House. Great. We'd love to cross-examine those guys. Well, that's what we wanted to do in the beginning, and they wouldn't let us do it in the House because the Democrats control the House. So that's a win for us. Now, they want to call new witnesses. Great. Now we get to call the whistleblower. We get to call Hunter Biden. We get to call Joe Biden. We get to call a whole bunch of people that they don't want us to talk to and hear testimony from. So it is a win if they dismiss. It is a win if we vote for only the witnesses that were already presented in the impeachment articles in the House. It is a win if we call every possible outcome option right now with the impeachment in the Senate is a winning option for us. It is a stronger strategic standpoint for us to be in than the Democrats. So, now, here's what's so important to understand. You cannot impeach the president without a 2/3 2/3 vote in the Senate. 2/3 of 100 people. 2/3 of 100 people. 67 senators would need to vote to impeach Donald Trump. 67 senators. They're trying to make you panic by talking about the vote, the procedural vote, which only needs a majority, 51, and these 4 Democrats that might flip. Oh, well, 4 Democrats might flip it. 4 Democrats might flip. 4 Democrats might flip. We're all doomed. 67. Okay. How many Democrats need to flip to get to 67? Yeah, do that math. Do that math. So, yes. Now, Lee Michael has a good point. Yes, Lee Michael, he is already impeached. This is the other thing. People continue to use this word, and they don't know the meaning of the word. He is already impeached. He is, in fact, as Nancy Pelosi says, forever impeached. Now we begin the trial to remove him from office, which will not succeed, obviously, because of many reasons, as we've talked about, including the 67 votes in the Senate that would have to vote to convict Donald Trump and remove him from office. Now, Lee Michael makes a great point. He says, get to call Schiff. We also need to be calling every single one of our senators. Now, let me see if I can go over here. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen here. We're going to pull this up. There we go. Let's pull this up right here. Let's see if I can zoom down to where. I wonder if I can just make that bigger. Let's see if I can just make that bigger. Yes, let's see. Great. Here is the phone number right here. Here is the phone number, folks, right here. You're seeing this right here. Woo, phone number right there. To call your senator. That's Capitol Switchboard. You can call your senator. Call them up. Let them know you demand that your senator vote to acquit the president, that there was no crimes, that this is a travesty of justice. They are destroying the Constitution. They are not protecting us from dangerous presidents. They're literally turning our protections, our checks and balances into a witch hunt and a political, partisan, manipulative tool. We won't stand for it. Do the responsible thing. We can be pushing these senators. Did it matter? Did it matter when the House was voting and calling all the senators and all this other blah, 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 blah? No. Actually, I think I could probably do it this way, Chris. Chris says, can I? Yeah, I think I can just copy. Let's see if I can just copy. Let's see if I can then do this. Post it in the comments. Yes. Great. Senate switchboard. Just putting this up on the screen, you guys. Of course, as soon as I need to put something on the screen, I cannot spell. So there's that. There we go. There we go. There's the Senate switchboard, you guys. So the House vote really didn't have any impact. So we're going to call our Democrat senators. They're still going to vote, or Congress people. They were still going to vote to impeach anyways. Now we're in the trial phase. This is an important part of the trial. It is time to engage the process and call your senators. Now, if you have the Democrat senators, call them and let them know you're going to run against them. But call every single one of the Republican senators. You don't have to be a constituent to call. You don't have to be a constituent to call. Call every single one of our Republican senators. If you go to the Senate switchboard, if you go to the website there let me see if I can, on senate.gov, go to senate.gov. It's going to pull it up. You're going to be able to find which Republican senators as well as the Democrat senators and make those phone calls. Yes. So important. Exactly, Lee. Note. You are not limited to only calling your senators. Call anyone you feel like giving a piece of your mind to. That is correct. Call all of them. Let them know the voters of America are watching them. We are watching this vote, and we fully expect for them to do their duty responsibly. I know we're going to Nick, I'm going to share your joke to end the show. Nick says, I hope Lily Tomlin isn't running the switchboard. Hilarious. A funny play on one of her favorite bits, the switchboard bit, which is absolutely super hilarious. So, yeah, it says, all right, good to know. All right. Now, that is our show for today, folks. We will be back again, like I said, on Monday. We're going to be going live from the event. We might not be doing a show that evening, depending on how the event goes, because once you get everybody in town, you certainly, things get, I don't know how late we're going to be. So, will I be back at Trump Talk Studios in time? I don't know. We're going to find out. Yes, definitely call Lindsey Graham. Call our strong supporters. Call Lisa Murkowski. So call Susan Collins. Call the ones on the fence. Those are the ones we have to push. These fools. So we will also continue to give you updates. All of next week on Wednesday, we're going to have special guest Tim Rush coming in. He's going to be talking about the LaRouche PAC push right now to pull together a peace summit between President Z, XI, and between Putin, between the United States, these powers that are being pushed into conflict more and more. The LaRouchians are suggesting that we come together and have a communication, a conversation, and a summit with them to push back against the globalist agenda, particularly with the heated situation with Iran and the push to bring the United States into war with Iran. It's all about Iran, actually. So we're going to be talking with him on Wednesday. Got a lot of great stuff coming up, but of course we will be live from the Second Amendment rally, being safe, having a good time, defending our Second Amendment, and we look forward to all you patriots being there as well, and we'll let you know. Now let's play this let's get a little bit of this as we outro.
You know, either get on the train or, who cares?
Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, Valerie, I'm trying to get a tiny little AK for President Nutcracker so he can open carry while we're down there. Have you seen the little models? They have the ads on Facebook all the time. If you're not getting them, you're missing out. It's really cute little model weapons with little tiny bullets that aren't really bullets, but they're model bullets. Super cute. Thought President Nutcracker size. So you are very welcome.
What's your experience in front of the world?
That's my president over there. Love you guys. Until next time. Until Monday, you guys. This is your girl, Suzzanne Monk, trumping out. Keep loving, before I trump out, let me just say, keep loving this Constitution. Keep protecting this Constitution. Keep loving this country. Keep making America great again. Keep supporting this wonderful president. And if you don't love America, as my license plate says, bye, Felicia. Everybody else, loving you. See you next time.